Video number 21, and this is for cello players. And in this video, we're going to learn how to play the D major scale. And what a scale is when you start on one particular note, you play every note in that key signature in order until you get to the name of the note you started on. So if we start on a D, we're going to end on a D. There is a scale for every single note on your instrument. So if we started on a G, we would end on a G. Now right now, we only have the capability of playing one scale, and there's two reasons for that. We only have the capability of playing D major. First of all, D major is the only key signature we know. So we can only play the scale of D major. The other reason is, remember how I said you needed to start on a note and play every note until you reach the name of that note again? The only note that we know two of is D. We know open D and high D. We don't know two Gs yet, so we can't play G major yet. But you know what? That's going to be the next scale you learn. But that's not going to be till we get to like number 93 in your book or somewhere around there. So we got a while on that. Let's focus on our D major scale. So we're going to start on open D, right here. Then the next note in order would be E, and then F sharp, and then G. Hopefully you already know what's coming next. A, B, C sharp, and high D. Now scales can go up and scales can go down. In some ways, I think scales going up were a little bit easier. You might remember in the previous video, we learned number 31 and 32, and 31 was down the D scale, and that was trickier. Why? Because when we played the open A on the way down, we had to get ready for G. We had to switch strings and go from no fingers to all your fingers. It's going to be the same problem here. It's going to be the same difficulty here, but you'll absolutely be able to do that. So, up and then down the scale. Here's what I want you to do with each note. I want you to play two Ds, and then two Es, and then two F sharps, two Gs, As, Bs, two C, two everything. When you get to the high note, you're going to repeat it. So what does that mean? Instead of two high Ds, you're going to actually play four. So you're going to go C sharp, high D, high D, high D, high D, and then come back down the scale all the way to open D. Okay? It's not going to be too terribly difficult for you, I don't believe. Everything's in order. That's what a scale is. Okay, let me get my cello. Here we go. D major scale, up and down, two quarter notes on each note. 1, 2, ready, and go. D, D. Now E, F sharp, G. Now make sure you bring your elbow back for the A string, just slightly. C sharp, high D. Now repeat the high D, now C sharp. Now B. Now while I'm playing the A, what am I doing? Look at that elbow. Here comes G, F sharp, E, open D. Okay, so when I'm coming down the scale, if you did great until like the very end, you probably messed up coming down the scale right where you switched. Here's what you want to practice. Practice B, A, look at my arm, G. Okay, go from B. While I'm playing the open A, I'm moving my arm. See all that happening? And I kept hovering above so I could just go smack down right there. If you did this, not going to make it, okay? If you need to pause and practice, but we're going to do it one more time. Let's play it again. D major scale, up and down. Repeat the high D and come down. Two of each note. 1, 2, ready, and go. D. Now E, F sharp, G, A, check your hand position out, B, now C sharp, now high D. Repeat the high D, C sharp. I'm already thinking about switching strings right now. Now as I move, look, A, go, G, move that elbow forward, E, then D. Okay? So keep practicing that. Scale is something you're going to need to do every single day. Again, it's a time when you don't have to think too much about the notes, so you can focus on getting stronger hands, building endurance, building strength, and forming the good habits. Scales serve many, many purposes. As we progress, something else that scales will do for us, and what the really advanced players do with scales, it really helps them learn how to play in tune. And it trains your fingers to go in a very specific place. We haven't talked about so much playing in tune just yet, because your focus right now needs to be on good position and playing exactly with the music or the metronome. So scales are a great way to do that for you right now. So practice your scale every single day, and soon we will add to that by learning the D major arpeggio.